Bengaluru, the Silicon Valley or Valley of India, which Malini has written. She spent more than 2 years interviewing more than 600 people to put this fascinating book together. And I will first request our secretary, Prakash Nanda, to introduce our distinguished panel. We have the co-author also, Prashant Prakash, sitting next to Malini.
So let me begin with Malini, who has been a business journalist for over last 25 years. She has worked with Economic Times, India Today, Forbes magazine, and the Times of India. She has tracked and reported on India's tech and startup landscape for over a decade now. Basically based in New Delhi, but since 1989, she has moved to Bengaluru in 2021, specifically to write on this book. Currently, she is the co-founder of Unboxing BLR Foundation, a not-for-profit platform focused on documenting Bengal. I always get confused, Bangalore and Bengaluru. Bangalore is so easy. Yeah, Bengaluru's rise as a global tech hub. The platform is working on multiple initiatives to help make Bengaluru a culturally vibrant global city. Mr. Prakash is the founding partner of the global venture capital firm Axel Partners in India and the co-founder of Unboxing BLR Foundation. He began his career as an entrepreneur in the 90s and since 2004 has played a key role as a venture capitalist in nurturing Bengaluru's as well as India's startup landscape. This Axel in India has had a foundational role in shaping some of country's most successful category-defining startups, including Flipkart, Swiggy, Agrostar, Bluestone, Book My Show, Clever Tap, Eat Fit, Home Lane, and Inframarket. But more significant than all these roles, he is an investor. Rather, as an investor, is his contribution as a philanthropist to both the country's tech ecosystem and more specifically that of Bengaluru. Mr. Gopal Krishnan is the chairman of Accelerator Ventures, an accelerator that helps startups during the early stage of their business journey. He has served as the vice chairman of Infosys from 2011 to 2014 and as its chief executive officer and managing director from 2007 to 2011. He is one of the co-founders of Infosys. Recognized as a global business and technology thought leader, what is this? Oh, eco. Recognized as a global business and technology thought leader, he was voted as the top CEO, IT service category in Institutional Investors inaugural ranking of Asia's top executives, and he has been selected as one of the winners of the second Asian Corporate Director Recognition Awards by Corporate Governance of Asia in 2011. He was elected as the president of Confederation of Indian Industry for 2013 to 14 and served as one of the co-chairs of the World Economic Forum Davos in January 2014. In 2011, the government of India awarded him in the Padma Bhushan, the country's third highest civilian honor. He also serves on the board of governors of several renowned institutions, Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and IIT, Bangalore. But here this Bangalore word is there, not Bengaluru. The Indian Institute of Science, still it is called Bangalore, right? Interesting. He is the co-chairman of the Vision Group of Information Technology of Karnataka Government, the chairman of the Reserve Bank of India Innovation Hub, and chairman of CIE Center of Excellence in Innovation, Entrepreneurship, and Startups. He is the co-author of Against All Odds, the IT Story of India. He holds a degree in physics, master's degree in physics and computer science from the Indian Institute of Technology, Madras. And finally, Mr. Mohan Des Pai, everybody knows him, but still I'm reading it out. He has served in the areas of finance, accounting, information technology, human resources, education, corporate governance, social impact innovation, environmental conservation, policy formulation, heritage preservation, philanthropy, and the venture and startup ecosystem. He is currently the chairman of Areen Capital, member of the boards of Havels India and Institute of Public Enterprises, member of the Board of Governors of National Investment and Infrastructure Fund, chairman of the Regulatory and Financial Technology Committee of the Securities and Exchange Board of India. He was awarded Padma Shri in 2015. He also previously worked as the board member and the chief financial officer of Infosys. That was for 17 years. He was also an investment committee member of the SIDBI India Aspiration Fund and 10,000 crore India Fund of Funds, a board of member of Securities and Exchange Board of India, that is SEBI, a member of the board of National Stock Exchange, and host of other institutions. Mr. Pai holds a degree in commerce, and he was actually the rank holder from St. Joseph's College of Commerce, Bangalore. He has a degree, bachelor's degree of law from Bangalore University, and is a fellow member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India as an All India rank holder. So we all are grateful here in FCC for your kind projects. And
Thank you, Prakash. May I now invite Malini and Prashant also to tell us the story behind this book, which is the biography of Bangalore, how during the more than a century history since the foundation of the Indian Institute of Bangalore Science, how it emerged as a hub for technology. Before they speak, may I request Brian and Anil to show the clip? Thanks.
In the universe, everybody knows Bangalore.
जो बैंगलोर है ना, बैंगलोर कर्नाटक है, बहुत सुंदर जगह है सर, सभी लोग रहते हैं इधर.
I feel it's a very chilled out city.
Now, Bangalore is a city of hope.
I think it's a city of ambition.
It's a city about the future.
First word that comes to my mind is freedom.
City of comfort.
I've always been very grateful to the city.
Belonging. Where tech happens in the New Silicon Valley.
Reminds me of London.
The best place to experiment is Bengaluru.
A city of first generation entrepreneurs.
I won't exchange this for anything else.
Are you showing the PPT? Malini and Prashant.
Yeah. So I think nothing is more powerful than telling my own story. The city of new beginning. Can you hear? Yeah. So I moved to Bangalore, and initially the plan was, and I've lived in Delhi since 1989. And this was home. This is where I'd lived all my life, most of my adult life. And I was only working on a book. And I thought maybe 6 months in Bangalore, and then I come back. And I still, Bengaluru is hard on tongue, yes, still. So I thought I'm going to go there for 6 months, do the reporting, research, and come back, write the story, and Delhi is home. Within 1 month, within 1 year, I'd sold off my Delhi home. I had bought a place in Bangalore. This project that I began to work, which was just a book project, expanded into something bigger, more ambitious, and very exciting, which is Unboxing BLR Foundation. And I think the journey that I had, which is the city of new beginning, the moniker, right? I mean, it also played out in my personal life as well. That, I moved to a new city. I began to work on a new project. Something that was very small became a seed for something much larger. And versions of that story I've heard now so many times from so many people in Bangalore, in this tech world, in this startup world. That to me is powerful. Maybe why the book? That's the question that Venkat wanted us to talk about. Why the book? For me, the reasons are very different than what Prashant's reason is. I mean, I think all journalists dream about writing a book. So I, of course, dreamt about writing a book. And then at some point of time, I thought maybe, especially I was returning from Israel, where I saw Israel package itself so beautifully with government, with journalists, with startup, tech founders and investors, packaging the country so beautifully that became the trigger for me to sort of look at a special project where I looked at the world's top 5 startup ecosystem, and Bangalore was closest to home. And it was a more practical as well. And as I put together a plan for Bangalore, that evolved into a book. But there were other reasons. So every time I went to Bangalore on work, I saw a city which had very suboptimal infrastructure. There were challenges, visible challenges in the city. And you could see that around, right, in terms of infrastructure, in terms of roads or public transport. But yet, as a journalist, you noticed month after month, the city made headlines for R&D investments, for as a tech capital, as whatever. It also made headlines for traffic congestion. But yet, that continued. And that dichotomous sort of existence of the city, that dichotomy in the city intrigued me as a journalist. And hence I began to look at Bangalore more closely, and then the book sort of emerged out of it. I'm going to pause there. Maybe Prashant might want to weigh in.
Yeah, so my own journey is the city is, of course, very slightly different from Malini's. I was born in Bangalore. So, being somebody who was born in Bangalore, then went abroad, like a lot of other computer science engineers, studied abroad and came back. But fortunately, I came back very early. I came back just when the first startup that we have to the left of me had started to become a fledgling public company. And so I've seen Bangalore from the very early startup days. And this city has reinvented itself again and again. And that to me was, something that people like outside the city never understood, that it's okay to create one Infosys, but can the city then reinvent itself? You have a Kiran who then created the biotech revolution in the city. Then again, we reinvent the city, bring in all the global multinationals for it to become the back-end R&D capital of the world. And then again, we reinvent the city to become the startup capital of the world. So just these 4 waves of transformation was something that people externally just did not understand and fathom. And that, a city can actually, in 3 decades, make these 4 gigantic transformations, which no city in the world, to my knowledge, has done. And me and Malini have done a lot of research to see, can we find a parallel city anywhere in the world that has done this? But yet, it was the city that was least understood. Even today, Bangalore is understood more for the traffic than everything else, right? And water. So I'm saying that there's something funny, it's anything in Bangalore gets amplified. I think it's because of the type of people who live there, uh, uh, who actually are all influential people there. People want to know their views very quickly, so media gets to them very fast. They get to Twitter very fast. So, and Mohan is as prolific as anybody else on Twitter. But people really amplify everything good and bad about Bangalore. But I still felt the understanding of the city and the understanding of what is different in the city, and how is Bangalore unlike any other city, and why is it the only city where people come to dream and dream big and make it big, and not, I mean, not Hyderabad, not Pune. All of them have great institutions, all of them have great young populations, but why doesn't what happened in Bangalore happen anywhere else? So there is something unique about that city, and that is what we wanted to. It's a multi-layered problem that we took on, because it's not just about the startup. I mean, because there's enough that had already been written about startups, so we didn't want one more book on startups. That was our first thing. Startup should occupy less than 20% of the book. 80% of the book should be about the people of Bangalore and what makes Bangalore Bangalore. So that and being a Bangalorean, I always felt that as a city we punched way below our weight, right? And India has this slightly overweight on the north and Delhi, where the power center is. But the new influence of where, as a country that has the aspiration to become a 5-10 trillion dollar economy, I knew where that muscle, where that energy was coming from. It was coming from cities like Bangalore. I wouldn't say it's the only city in India, right? There are many cities that are contributing, but it is the city that was inspiring the country, but yet least understood among all other cities. And from the startup which Chris and Mohan and other folks created, to now these 4 decades, right? The journey of the city, and you know there's a very interesting set of things that we, even as a Bangalorean, I discovered about the city, which was for me very fascinating. That how people, when they come to Bangalore, start behaving differently just within a year. How young people have their own reasons, which I never understood, as to why they like Bangalore. And it is not because of the job they have, or because of the the salary they get, but there are certain things they enjoy as millennials or Gen Zs, which they don't find in other places in India, right? So and what do companies get? I mean, why are the brands first launched in every brand that you can think of in the last 10 years, 20 years, first gets launched in that city? Because brand managers know, if we understand Bangalore, if we understand how a young person can be sold a product in Bangalore, we can sell it to at least a 10, 15, 20, 30, now 50 million urban youth in this country. So in many ways, it's a microcosm, it's a sandbox for the country. And I think the time had come to tell the story.
Thank you, Malini and Prashant. We have 2 very distinguished gentlemen, Bangaloreans, who actually were possibly instrumental in leading this revolution, IT revolution in Bengaluru. Mr. Pai and Mr. Gopal Krishna. May I now invite Mr. Pai, how Infosys became instrumental in launching this great IT revolution in India and Bengaluru. Thanks.
I'm born in Bangalore a pretty long time ago. Lived in Bangalore all my life, and I think I'm going to live there till the end. I'm a Bangalorean. I love my city for many reasons. I've seen it grow. Bangalore has 1.2 crore people. It has a very deep middle class where maybe 45 lakhs, 50 lakh work and are regularly employed. It's the richest city in India. Karnataka's GDP 23-24 could be $310 billion. Bangalore could be 150, 160, 170 billion dollars. We believe it is 55-60% of Karnataka's GDP, and the per capita income in Bangalore is the highest among any cities in India. Now, out of 1.2 crore people, 23 lakh people work in technology. It is the largest collection of human capital in technology compared to any city in the world, and more people work in technology in Bangalore than Silicon Valley. More people work in technology than the United States maybe 2 years from now. We're very close. We're number 2 in the world. We got more than 50,000 IT companies. I think there's much more. 20,000 startups, 45 unicorns. We export $80 billion of software services. And we have 350,000 chip designers, testers, and embedded software people, the largest collection of chip design talent and embedded software talent in the world, much more than China, much more than Taiwan or any other country. Every year, we create about 150 to 200,000 jobs in technology. And out of 2.3 million people working in technology, I would say less than 11 lakhs are local Kannadigas, defined as people who are possibly got the 10th class in Karnataka and are educated there. We are very welcoming to the outsider. Less than 50% speak Kannada, maybe 40%. So he's a rarity. I'm a rarity. I'm a Konkani, but we are Kannadigas too. I'm born there. Chris too. I mean, I don't know. Chris is a little bit late entrant. Came later after we built the city to rule us from the neighboring state. Malini is, of course, at least an migrant, so honorary Kadbani. You left us. Now, why is Bangalore important? Bangalore is a microcosm of what India could be in the future. India's global city, 100,000 PhDs work there. And in Bangalore, we have a culture where the most respected person is the most educated, most, let us say, highly accomplished person, not the person with the highest bank balance. It's important for a civilization that you respect people who are scholars, scientists, and others. And in Bangalore, we do that. You walk across Bangalore, there are about 50, 60 billionaires. You can meet them all over the place. But, they go as ordinary people. They don't come in the swanky cars with a lot of funkies and all kind of stuff. So essentially a very middle-class town. And it grew up primarily because after independence, we had the public sector come there, many great industries. And they got people from all over the country to come and stay there. Now, their children grew up, and we started engineering colleges there in the private sector, many of them run by politicians. And they became graduates, and that led to the IT industry. We started off in the late 70s, maybe early 80s when Infosys came there and grew. And Bangalore has certain challenges. Before that is a science city, biotech city, fashion city, garment city. We have 600,000 people working in the garment industry, aerospace city. We got is an electronic city, is an electrical city, is a telecom city. You name the field of technology, it's all there. Any global tech company can come to Bangalore, hide 1,000 people in the technology within 6 months without a whimper. So it is a very unique city around the world. And as we grow, Bangalore faces certain challenges. For 1.2 crore people, we have 1.1 crore vehicles, 65 lakh two-wheelers, 30 lakh cars. We buy 55,000 cars every month, and Delhi buys a little bit more than that, but Delhi has 2.2 crore people. We only have about 77 kilometers of metro. Our metro is, 3 years behind. Very soon, in 3 years, we'll have 160 kilometers. We hope to have 300 kilometers by 2030. So we have a mobility problem. The mobility problem is because the immense wealth of the city and the fact that everybody lives a good quality of life and there are jobs are plenty. We have very few slums in Bangalore, very few people without jobs in Bangalore. And I think the jobs are plenty across all class of people, all kind of communities in the city. We also have a water problem right now. And the water problem is because of a lack of distribution and lack of proper governance. We need about 1,800 million liters of water a day for 1.12 million people at 150 liters. Plus, we need about another 600, 700 for commercial purposes, 2,500 million liters. In the Kaveri phase, we get 1,450. Maybe 25% is leakage. And we got 650 million liters coming from bore wells. And because Bangalore, the city has some 260 lakes, when his great grandfather founded Bangalore, right? So, he belongs to the family of Kempegowda, am I right? Yeah. So he's a distant relative long ago, and it's a very distinguished family. And, the borewells are drying up because the lakes have been approached by government and others. And, they're not been taking care of the lakes because of misgovernance and lack of governance. And also, the Kaveri is coming up in April or May, which will give us 750 million liters. So we can solve the problem. So we got a mobility problem. We got a, we got a water problem, and we got a governance problem, symbiotic of all big cities in this country, which we have to improve. Because in 78th Amendment, I think the villages got their panchayats. We didn't get anything in our towns. We got a corporation which is elected every 5 years. Last 2 years, there been no election, 200 wards. We have a mayor who's changed every year. Kisa Kusika, they go on changing, and the mayor has no powers. Our chief minister acts as the mayor and decides for all the things that we do. We give about 50 to 60% of Karnataka's taxes. We get very little. Like Karnataka is challenging the Union of India. We want also to challenge the state government for not giving us money. It's underinvested, undergoverned, and we have challenges of a city. And the challenge of a city also is because of lack of delimitation for the last 30 years, we don't have enough representation in government. And Bangalore has very unique citizens. All of us have worked with government for the last 30 years. 30 years, right, Chris? We worked with government. They listen to us. They agree with us. We sit on committees. They say yes to every development thing that we want in Bangalore. Nobody has said no. Every political party, every chief minister, etc. But when it comes to actual action, it doesn't happen. Why does it happen? Is a mystery that we have to solve. We've still not been able to solve it. We need an AI algorithm to make it, find out what happens. So, the very unique city, and they're good people, and they're welcoming to the outsiders. And we have more resemblance to San Francisco than Delhi. For many of us, Delhi is very distant. It's like Beijing and Shanghai. It's like San Francisco and Washington. Delhi is the seat of power. We are far away seat of power. It's a very global city. Our airport has about 40 million passengers, the third largest. Like Malini said, third largest amount of income tax is paid there. And many other things. We are in the top 2 or 3 cities. And going forward, we'll get possibly the largest number of overseas people coming and working in Bangalore. So we come here to, like Malini said, write the story of Bangalore. And, hopefully you people will be kindly considered to us. Because when you had this flood in Bangalore, so-called flood, it was in 1 square kilometer out of 1,000 square kilometers in a particular area where the rainfall was heavy and the drains were blocked. And because the rains were blocked, water stood there. They didn't clean the drains, and it took 2 or 3 days. And the news was Bangalore is flooded. What happens in Bangalore is forecast all around the world because Bangalore is extremely important for the technology part of the world. So everything that gets exaggerated. So I want to give it to Chris to see the the entrepreneurship system and what he saw as CEO of Infosys.
The research also.
And research also. And intellectual property that's being created.
Thank you. First of all, let me congratulate Malini and Prashant on this book and, taking the story of Bangalore global. I think it's a story that needs to be told as a story, but more importantly, you would have heard from all the people. It's about hope and it's about future. It's about what we can be. Clearly, Bangalore is all about what we can be. I am a immigrant into Bangalore, but I have been now associated with Bangalore for about 40 years. So I can claim that most of, if there's one place where I've stayed most of my life, it's in Bangalore. And I'm completely invested into Bangalore and passionate about Bangalore. Infosys could not have grown to what it is today other than in Bangalore. Because the ecosystem that existed, including the software technology park experiment that was done. It was actually experimented in Bangalore before it went to other places. Clearly, Bangalore is a laboratory for innovation, for experimentation, for thinking of new way of doing things, an open innovative way of doing things. And that's what Bangalore is, continues to be. And that's the reason why, as Prashant said, we had multiple of these new beginnings. The IT story really flourished in Bangalore. Now the biotech story is flourishing. The startup story is flourishing. The innovation story, it has become the laboratory for the world. All the new things that you use now, there is an element of Bangalore, because everything has software, and if it has software, there's a line of code that has been written in Bangalore, right? So everything, I believe, has a part of Bangalore in it, and that's what Bangalore is all about. In Silicon Valley, you hear about startups, you hear about one or two academic institutions, but in Bangalore, you will see startups, you will see established companies, you will see multinational companies with their R&D facility, you will see defense establishments, you will see aerospace there. So, it's just one after another. It's all about the future, and that future is being created in Bangalore. And I believe that all the governments have been very open. As Mohan said, there has not been a time when we didn't have access. They didn't listen to us, but somehow or other we can't get things done. Execution is where, when it comes to governance, execution is where Bangalore has failed, actually, or failed all of us. It's just not just government alone, but it has failed all of us, actually. What I'm optimistic about is, if you think about UPI, if you think about new models, even during COVID, etc., the COVID app, every one of them is designed, thought, developed in Bangalore. And I'm hopeful that Bangalore will also figure out the solution for the governance issues that we are faced with, which many other cities are also facing. It'll also figure out the issues regarding urban mobility. We need a new solution. The existing solution of private transportation is not going to solve the problem. So we have to figure out a new model for that. I am hopeful that all of that will happen in Bangalore. And as the title of the book says, New Beginnings, Bangalore is all about new beginnings.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris. Malini wants to say something.
So, as an outsider to Bangalore, what struck me is, and I wanted to talk a bit about that, is the pace of change, the velocity of change, the transformation that the city is undergoing. So, at one level, the physical infrastructure doesn't seem to be changing, but looked at another way, the city is changing so dramatically. Think about it. Till the 80s and 90s, this was a pensioners' paradise. This was a city meant for old people, PSU city, and today it is a global tech hub attracting young people from all over the world and India, right? It's a 180-degree transformation of the city in its positioning. And that you notice it only when you live there, and then you realize. And why are young people coming there? And I'll give you two instances why. These are interesting, sort of anecdotal and combination of research and conversations with people. One is about how the money behaves and the color of money, and that emerged as I was talking to people. So, how differently does money behave in Bangalore versus Delhi versus Bombay versus maybe Chennai and Hyderabad? And that's one instance. And second is about dating platforms and how young people experience it. And it's a powerful reflection of how different cities are, their DNA is. So, one is about the money. And so, And this is again a combination of multiple people. So Delhi is about money has color, right? It's black and white. Money symbolizes many things, like the brand you wear, the status symbol, and all that. And how you spend money is a reflection of all that. It's the black and white money, the status symbol, all that sort of is a reflection of how the money behaves in Delhi. Bombay is about dhanda, right? And the risk capital, the idea, the concept of risk capital is not that evolved, that mature as you find in Bangalore. And that shapes a lot, stock market and all that shapes Bombay and how the money behaves there. In Chennai, this is a specific example somebody was saying, and I think it's a reflection. So there are family-owned businesses who are large sort of conglomerate, 4,000 crore odd or even more. But to take a decision on investment of 25 crore, the 14, 15 member of the family have to align and vote, and even one vetoes, the money doesn't move. In Hyderabad, what your surname is shapes a lot of decision there. In Bangalore, and I've heard versions of it from so many founders that I don't think they are faking it. The money is very nimble, very agile, very flexible. There is the idea of risk capital is evolved. So, I remember this is Tarun Mehta of Aether Energy. Right now, it's a big company, but this is 2015. And he was struggling, about to shut down. And over one meeting, within an hour, Sachin Bansal had taken a decision to put $1 million when that company was about to shut down. And that's not an exception. There are so many versions of that story I've heard now from so many founders that it is not. So that's how the money behaves. And that is a big differentiator. And the second bit, which is an interesting one on the dating platform. So let me talk a little bit about that. So dating experience, so almost all are young, sort of Gen Z, particularly on dating platforms, and how people find love, sex, romance in today's world is shaped significantly by dating platforms. The journey of connecting on a dating app to meeting in person at home, that journey is the shortest in Bangalore, longest in Delhi, and perhaps never happens in Bombay. And the reasons are interesting. In Delhi, the trust factor is so overwhelmingly sort of shapes the decision that especially women rarely sort of want to exchange number, and for months they're doing in-app conversation, right? Not having the trust and the confidence to share phone number. And this is a combination of, as I said, multiple sort of sources. In Bombay, the real estate cost is so high that the privacy at home is often not available to people. So they are probably staying with their parents, or for multiple reasons, right? The privacy at home is not available. And hence that. In Bangalore, many of these people are migrant to the city. You get a campus vibe. They are probably staying with their friends. They have the freedom, they have the privacy, and they have the trust, right? And all that combined to sort of shape behavior on dating platforms. And so many people have said within 3 days, actually connecting on app to meeting in person, that has happened. I think for Gen Z, Prashant was mentioning it, this is something so powerful, at least for them, right? The dating pool, the dating experience for them is an important factor. I'm going to pause there, but Venkat, over to you.
Friends, I think the story of what Bengaluru is today has got something to do with Swami Vivekananda and Jamshedji Tata. It so happened that in 1893, they were on board a ship sailing from Japan to Canada, and Jamshedji Tata and Swami Vivekananda were talking about the role of science and technology in India's future. Then the Mysore Maharaja, Krishna Raja Vadayar IV, donated 372 acres of land in a village which has now become Bengaluru. In 1911, the Indian Institute of Science was founded. That is how Bengaluru has ended up as the intellectual capital of India now. It is home to 33% of India's frontier tech talent. It has over 1 lakh PhDs, over 2.5 lakh data scientists, 3 lakh chip designers and testers, over 31,000 artificial intelligence talent, over 30,000 automotive software engineers, and over 15,000 aeronautical engineers. I'm not even talking about all those scientists involved in sending, Chandrayaan to the moon and ISRO and so on and so forth. So for a city which has so much talent and so many things are happening, and I don't know why the infrastructure in Bengaluru is in such a bad shape, so much so that Mr. Pai has said that the city of gardens has now become the city of garbage. When do you think things will get better in Bengaluru, Mr. Pai?
Before that, I just want to add that culture of philanthropy continues today. You will find that people open their purses, even the first generation entrepreneurs, the startup founders who become successful. And, I can name many institutions which have come up. Uh, of course, we have an Bangalore International Center, India International Center, we have Bangalore International Center. We have the Museum of Arts and Photography. We have Science Gallery, Bangalore. We have a music exhibition,
Museum.
Indian Music Experience, Rankashankara. Many such institutions have come up now, and most of these are actually funded philanthropically. And you will find that some of the largest philanthropy have a Bangalore connection. Akshay Patra, the largest midday meal program in the world, again, started in Bangalore. So Bangalore, that culture of philanthropy continues even today, and that's a very interesting phenomenon I see in Bangalore actually. And now, Mohan, if you want to talk about,
It's a political problem. I think we'll have better governance in Bangalore once Bangalore contributes more to the legislators going to the assembly. We have 228 people in the assembly. Bangalore has 28. Our population is about 20% of Karnataka, and we got only about 12 or 13%. So when the delimitation happens, the census happen, hopefully delimitation, then I think we'll get more people inside. Then I think they will respond to us, because the entire urban population of Karnataka will be represented in our legislature. There'll be more focus on the urban areas. Now, when India also goes through that, the urban share will go up dramatically. And when urban share goes up dramatically, those political leaders will respond to the electorate. Because, politicians respond to the electorate. Democracy is a system of competitive lobbies. Now, Bangalore doesn't have a big lobby. We talk a lot. They listen to us. They're very kind to us. Give us tea, coffee. We go on TV, criticize them. They'll call us and say, oh, come and meet me. What happened? But nothing happens on the ground as slowly. We are 15 years behind. So when the political landscape changes, you have to get elected. They will respond. India too will be, after the next delimitation, much more urban-centric, because more people are living in urban area. They're not getting it. You've seen what happened to Bombay. Because, Bombay is getting transformed. You've seen what happened to Delhi, 400 kilometers of metro. And the central government has created all those big, big roads all over, and quality of life because central government has improved. But, we have a problem. So I think hopefully they still live in hope. Like she said, the city of hope.
Chris himself has donated more than 250 crores of rupees to the Indian Institute of Science for brain-related disease research, and Nandan has given a lot of money to IIT Mumbai, and Narayan Murthy, Azim Premji, all of you people, we are sitting with billionaires. is there any possibility of all of you gentlemen putting your brains together and creating a satellite city, so that, because I find this overcrowding is not just a problem confined to Bengaluru. You go to any small city, even Warangal or Vijayawada or Nellore or, wherever, you have huge overcrowding problem. And borrowing money from banks is very easy to buy a car or even a mobile phone and all that. Is it possible for you people to think of the unboxing BLR Foundation, uh, you know, doing something to raise resources to to start thinking of a satellite city not very far from Bengaluru with necessary infrastructure facilities like New Jersey, New York. Is something like that likely to happen in the near future? Chris, you have something to say?
Yeah, in Electronic City, we made it self-managed. So little experiment we did, and Electronic City still is best industrial estate in the country. Till now it's working. But the pressure from the rest of the city and the population, because we are still small, right? That's the challenge we are faced with. And in a democracy, we need to have that.
We can't create elitist enclaves. It's not right. We're a part of society. You see, I went to a school where people from all strata of society came. We had children of butchers, housemaids, bus drivers, conductors, rich businessmen, government servants, etc. We all grew up together. My hero was Iqbal, who was the football captain. I meet him now and he's still a hero to me. He says, "You're a big man." I said, "No, you are my hero." Because we all mixed. Today, what is happening? Elitism is coming. You go to international school, the Coca-Cola generation is there. They're all there. They're all getting diverse from the rest of society. So we got to create cities where everybody can live together, rich and poor. For that, the government has to act. We can create enclaves. We have enclaves in Bangalore. But when they come out, the road is bad. They get stuck in traffic. They can neither enter nor go out. Sometimes the enclaves get flooded. The richest part of Bangalore, richest people living there got flooded because the drains outside were blocked. So I don't know. But what we have got satellite cities. We got Tumkur, we have got Nelamangala, we got North Bangalore. We got, but we don't have fast transportation. The key is fast transportations. You can come and go from there. Like you got this train to going to which is that place now outside 50 kilometers away in UP? Meerut. We need something like that.
No, so there are 2, 3 decongestion ideas that we've been talking, and I think Mysore has, for good or bad reason, people just haven't moved that fast to that city. So that city has had the time to build infrastructure a lot better than Bangalore, and I think it's fast emerging as a hardware and semiconductor city. So I'm hoping that there will be another magnet there for, looks like the whole world is now gravitating back to this world of semiconductors, and it's becoming the future. So maybe there's a new, and it's a lot better plan. They have a very good peripheral road. They're doing an outer peripheral road already. So, and the garbage, it's among the top 10 cleanest cities in the country in terms of how garbage is managed. So in many ways, Mysore, I think, has had the time to for the infrastructure to keep pace. The second thing is we've been talking about this greater Bangalore, which is emerging to the north of the city, around the airport, and there are 2 or 3 nicely developed uh, business parks there, and some of these business parks have been thought of as being transformed into uh, tech parks that have both the live, work, and play kind of concept, right? So where they're self-sufficient, and uh, there's kind of better planning for both living infrastructure and work infrastructure that goes hand in hand. Because one of the big problems Bangalore has is the crisscrossing of people traveling for work, and because we've taken a long time to build the peripheral ring road, and that, I think, Mohan, it has been awarded, is what I understand, right? So tendered, it's been tendered. So with the 300 kilometers of metro plus the peripheral road, And some of these northern Bangalore, the greater Bangalore clusters, there is some amount of decongestion. And we've seen, for example, the Whitefield uh, metro link that you've heard has cut down traffic to 25 minutes from 1.5 hours. So there is so Whitefield Bangalore commute was horrendous. So there is change there. So there are some positive things that are happening.
The session is now open to a Q&A session. Kindly raise your hands, whoever wants to ask a question, then wait for a microphone to come, and then identify yourself and ask a question. Yes.
I was very happy to learn. Yeah, happy to learn that Bangalore opens its purse to good causes. Please tell them about the Ranjan Bakshi Relief Fund. And I'm now living on hope from the city of hope. But Bangalore's changed a lot. My dad was a Second World War veteran. It was a non-fan city. Last week, we couldn't do without air conditioners, right? Now, how is that the city of lakes now has a water problem? And yet at the same time, you have these floods, like my sister in Epsilon were flooded. Now, there's certain parts of Bangalore where I live, like the Bangalore Club and Koramangala, a friend of mine where he lives. They have no water shortage at all in Bangalore there, in spite of all this noise being made about Bangalore having a water shortage. I mean, he's lucky because he lives in the same lane as Nandan Nilankani. So that helps not have a water problem. Is that right?
No, I don't see. I think you're aware of the Kaveri being the primary source of water, and of course, the cantonment and the central city, and the 10-kilometer periphery around that, which includes Kormangala, Indranagar, Baswangudi, Jayanagar, which are very middle class thing. It's not just rich people there, right? So they got water. The Kaveri stage 1, stage 2 were first implemented there, and stage 3 and stage 4 that Mohan just mentioned, which will all be commissioned, I think is reaching the same areas that today have this problem, who are very much dependent on only borewell and groundwater. So I think there is a little bit of a catch up where the real estate developers them built them ahead of um, uh, the infrastructure, the water infrastructure coming in place. See, the to be dependent totally on lake water, I think is not practical. But what you can really implement is a lot of great rainwater harvesting, which I think Chennai has done a good job of. So if you know the story of Chennai, I think they had a huge water problem, 10, 15, 20 years ago. But when Jayalalitha came to power, she really had a very diligent implementation. So Bangalore has a rainwater harvesting policy, but a lot of it is just on paper. So I think a lot can be done just by the right rainwater harvesting, and which I think now the government is waking up. So the new Kaveri fourth stage and better implementation of rainwater harvesting, I think within the next 2 years you'll be able to solve this.
Yes.
I'm MB Chandra from NK News India. Somebody was talking, I think Mr. Prashant was saying regarding this startup capital. Here is a startup innovation expo is going on, one of the largest of its kind. Yesterday, our Prime Minister during a conclave said that projecting himself to be a startup man of India. In 2014, we had 100 startups. Now we have more than 1 lakh startups. Unlike other, what we say, capital, these startups are not focused only on Bangalore. It is spread all across 600 districts. So how do you view this? Bangalore will be a startup capital, or Gujarat to become, or what? You can throw some highlight.
Yeah, so I think I would like to draw upon what's happening in other countries, right? So, I mean, that's how things have evolved, not that it should replicate in our country. Uh, Silicon Valley still remains the Silicon Valley of the US, right? So, and by the way, they have as many are very different kind of challenges that they deal with. That's the story for another day. But innovation needs an ecosystem. There are different types of startups that will get built in this country. There are some startups that will get built for Bharat, and some which are more agri-tech oriented, and some startups, I mean, and those will also get done in the country. Then some startups that are solutions for smaller towns. But that does not mean that the cutting edge innovation and the next generation of great startups will not come from some of the major cities, and Bangalore will be one of them. So I think it's just the virtuous cycle of where capital is, where talent is, where research gets done, where the right education talent kind of converges. I think all of that go a long way in maintaining a good share of that next generation of startups. And yeah, I think you're very right. I think India will not be just a one city story when it comes to startups.
Yes.
Good evening, sir. Myself SS Dogra. I'm bureau chief for a magazine called Himalni that published from Kathmandu, Nepal. First of all, congratulations to all of you. Venkat sir invited me to this particular event. My question to author, both of you, Malini ma'am and Prashant sir, is there any book on Bangalore city before your book? Number one.
There was a book on more the historical, kind of happenings of the city from when, as Mohan was saying, from when Kempegoda formed to maybe 50 years ago.
On a historical background, basically.
There was a historical, but
or
nobody
geographical.
had written what Malini likes to call this as a contemporary biography
Okay.
of the city.
Now my next question is, how different your book is and what are the major features for the readers?
Yeah, I'll have Malini answer.
So the book, as Prashant was mentioning, is a contemporary biography of Bangalore and a multi-layered exploration of the city. So this is not just about the tech in the city, but tech is a prime and it looks at the life in the city, how the city has transformed. There are chapters that gives you flavor of life in the city, what makes Bangalore different and special, and of course, what's the challenges in the city. So there's a chapter called Young and Single in the City. There's a chapter on the network effect and how that is playing out. So I don't think such a in-depth and extensive reportage, right? 600 interviews to put together a book. I don't think 600 plus interviews on in this city, and our grounds up view and not just the top down view of the city. That's what this book is all about.
The book is available at the counter. The authors will be very happy to autograph any copies sold. 15% discount is available. Yes, please take the mic.
Monsa and Ish. One question: Bangalore is a new startup in stock exchange. His map is only for India is a two stock exchange in Mumbai. Bangalore startup and मेन हिंदी में मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि इसको इनको भी कुछ स्टार्ट करने के लिए वहाँ एक्सचेंज होना चाहिए क्योंकि कुछ सर देखिए आप पहल करेंगे तभी आगे बढ़ेंगे.
See, stock exchanges are now electronic. They are in virtual. They are in a virtual world.
नहीं सर
electronic.
देखिए सबसे ज्यादा साउथ इंडिया की कंपनी है वही है अगर लिस्टेड में देखा जाए
Ah.
अंडर फॉर्चून
Yeah,
कंपनी.
but historical thing, it doesn't matter whether it's in Bangalore or elsewhere because it's all virtual. You do electronic trading. Earlier, there was a hall where they used to come and shout at each other and sell. All that is gone. Outcry system is gone. It really doesn't make a difference. You had Zerodha. Zerodha is the largest digital broker in India. Is maybe 12% of all trades on the exchange. We have other companies too, like Grow and others. Grow is in Bangalore. Grow is in Bangalore, another 8-9%. 20-25% trading happens from companies in Bangalore. So that's okay.
Hi, I'm Shantanu. My congratulations to Malini and Prashant for this book. Malini was my former colleague, so I'm in ET. So this question is for Mohandas Pai or Mr. Chris. It is, we haven't seen new cities come up in India from 1947 onwards. We can count how many cities, new cities have been built up. Maybe right from Chandigarh time. I mean, Raipur, of course, we have, there is one, but still it's not fully populated. So what is your thought on that?
You want to say?
Sometime back, there was a proposal to create 50 new cities ground up. But what I see now happening is revival of existing, um, let me say, large towns to become cities. If you look at the transformation of Varanasi, now look at the transformation of Ayodhya, right? Suddenly, there are, I think, more number of tourists coming to Ayodhya than I think Vatican or something. I saw read somewhere, right? So, all of these things are going to happen in India. But I agree, we do need bottom up or ground up planned new cities to happen. Hopefully, it will happen.
I think, see, cities are organic things. It grows over a period of time. People come together. There's interaction, right? You create an artificial entity like Natipa, the capital of Myanmar, or possibly in other parts of the world like Brasilia. Now Indonesia is trying to build a city. Whether they'll huh? Amravati, it didn't work, and even the Cyber Jaya in Malaysia. They're all great cities, but people are not living because you need the small shops, you need those vendors, you need the neighborhood, the small restaurant, everything to come together. It takes time. What should we do is we must identify the 5,000 census town or the 10,000 census town as per the thing. We must give them grants to improve the existing city, put in sewage, water, power, roads, and public infrastructure and mobility, and plan for it, acquire some of the surrounding areas, and create places for people to stay. In Bangalore, we have Jayanagar, which is one of the best planned areas. We had Malleshwaram, which was planned. When Bangalore had the plague in the 19th century, we had Basangudi, which was an old city. So Bangalore is expanded. But they stopped doing all that and started real estate business in the guise of government agencies to give plots and do all kind of stuff. So I think we need more money to go in, better agencies, better governance. That is the key. Now, Delhi is good because you got the central government in New Delhi, right? Old Delhi still has got some challenges. You see what happens in politics. So you need city governance to improve. You look at New York, mayor is more powerful than the mayor of New York State, right? The mayor of London is very powerful. Here, the chief ministers are scared that if the mayor comes in Bangalore full time, 5 years, it'll be more powerful than the chief minister because everything happens there. The Bombay mayor, if it's very powerful and all the powers are there, will be extremely rich, right? So we have a governance problem which we have to solve in this city. Calcutta, the British had mayors. Calcutta mayor is a British creation. Mumbai mayor is a British creation. The old cities, Allahabad had a mayor. I think Rajendra Prasad was the Allahabad mayor, right? So they had mayors in the old cities. So we need the cities to be ruled. Hopefully, the next 5 years they'll be focused on urbanization because people are coming to urban areas.
Namaste. Can entrepreneurs can we come into the political system, a startup or in next 5 to 10 years to rule to better administration purpose in Bangalore? Entrepreneurs, new startups. And second question is that can Bangalore follow the footsteps of Delhi, because Delhi, Gurgaon, and Mr. Venkat has mentioned, satellite cities like Gurgaon and Noida has been main focus is Delhi, and they have been expanded. But their economy has been dependent on Delhi somewhat.
See, to be in politics, in my view, don't hold others. You need 5 attributes. You need to have a hunger for power. Politicians have a hunger for power because you need to be devious. Because you checkmate everybody else, one person comes up. Then you need to love people. They come home at 5 o'clock, you got to give them tea, coffee, satisfy them because, every MP has got 20 lakh constituency, 11 lakh voting. It's huge numbers, unbelievable. Largest number of voters for any constituency in the world is in India because we not have delimitation. Then you need good perseverance. Yes, we got perseverance. We need good communication skills. So we don't have the characteristics to be politicians and we'll be lost. Nandan nearly won, but it didn't work. So don't think that we tech people who have done success business can be success politicians. We cannot. We have to support politicians. We have to work with them. They know how to deal with people. It's a very unique skill. We must be respectful of them. We must contribute to their election funding, give clean money to them so good people can come up. That's the way it has to go. He has worked for government. He's been advisor. I worked on committees. He's chairing committees. We worked with all kind of political parties. It works. And they've done good jobs. They couldn't give us what we want, but they've done a good job. So I think, politics and everybody, just because a successful businessman will not be a successful politician. I think we got to leave it at that.
One thing I would say, see, in certain areas, government actually works very well. The IT industry, services industry, if you look at, has benefited from support from government. The software technology policy, the income tax concession that they gave, 100% tax exemption for exports. All of that has helped the industry succeed. Even for startups, if you look at where startups are flourishing, the support from government is a key for the startups to succeed. So there is a role for government to play, and in some areas, I think government has worked with the industry very well. Now the transition in automotive to electric, right? The transition to sustainable fuels and things like that. Those are all areas where government is working very closely. It's really in some of the areas where the licenses are still required, spectrum, in real estate. That's where we still have not figured out how to probably work together well.
Well, I want to announce that tomorrow we have a discussion on Myanmar from a visiting editor. 43% of the country is under rebel control. What's going to happen to the junta is the subject of the discussion. Very happy to announce that Prashant and Malini have decided to gift each one of you a copy of their book free. And so there is a sale counter there. Just pick up your copies. And may I now invite Simran to propose a vote of thanks and also present mementos to our distinguished panel.
From all of us here at the FCC, let me thank Malini, Prasant, Mr. Gopalakrishnan and Mohandas Pai for being here with us today evening and for this wonderful discussion. We streamlined the discussion live on the Twitter and Facebook page of the FCC. This discussion will also be saved in the archives section of the FCC Facebook in case any of you wants to kind of go back and listen to the discussion. And a small request, if anyone is filing a news report, please do mention that the interaction took place at the Foreign Correspondents Club today. And once again, thank you everyone for being here and for this wonderful discussion. Thank you.